Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Guten 3 Wochen, Rabbi Sai. Rabbi Sai. This is the second time it happened. I don't know what the Simon Min Shamayim is. Something about Austria, but it's basically in the same spot. I missed the same amount of lines, and we started the Shiur. It's just because the confusion with the English and the Hebrew. So I'm just going to read over here. You guys don't have to do it with me. Tanya, Rebbe Omer, Daf Samach Gimel and Beis. We're just going to do a few lines and go over to Samach Dalal and Beis. Tanya, Rebbe Omer, Gol Vidu Efnei Misha, it's a Gazda. Gol Vidu Efnei Misha, Sha'omar, V'hoya Oilam. It's known to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the one who said the world should exist. Shebehema Tmeim Merubim and Atayres. There are many more non-kosher animals than kosher animals. Therefore, what it makes sense in the Torah, if you're going to say, you want to say a list, and you have two species. You can talk about the kosher, talk about the non-kosher. You're gonna mention the ones that are fewer, and then you know that the other ones are automatically the opposite of the ones that you mentioned. So, since there are many more non-kosher animals, that's why the Torah said, what are the kosher animals? There are only 10. The rest of the species, 6,800 species of animals, are tamei. But when it comes to birds, there's 11,000 species. And they're all tar, besides 24. That's why the Torah only spoke about 24. Michael Masman, what's the big chiddush over here? Mamish like me. That's why I skipped this Gemara to begin with. Because I was trying to be mekatzer, the daf. But I got caught. This is the punishment. You both punish me. So you should always teach your talmidim in a short, concise way, and that's why you say 24, and you don't go through a list of 11,000. Rabbi Isai, we're holding on Daf Samachei Omer Aleph. Beautiful. We did a few more lines yesterday, so we could start from Samachei Omer Aleph. Aval Amru Chachamim Kol Loif. So let's just jump into the Mishnah real quickly. Very good stuff. It's all about grasshoppers today and a little bit about birds. We're going to finish up the sugya of birds. Here's the Mishnah. Any bird that attacks doiris, but what it means. Have a good Shabbos. I'll see you Be'ez Hashem later. Shkoyach. Do you want to air it out for us? No, it's the same. So, the simanim in the Mishnah, a bird who does drisa. So what's drisa? So we saw Rashi has 2 pshatim. One is like this, that he grabs the food with his mouth. Another one is that he steps on it like this. And I have my own video that I found today while I was searching for the video of the seagulls. Here's a geschmacka picture I took once in our property in Miami. Here he is standing on the fish. And there's another one that's taken from it's the same spot, really. Oh, wait, I wonder if it's the same boat. No, it's a different boat in the background. If you look closely, he's gonna eat from it now. Standing on that fish. Okay. So that, according to one pshat and Rashi, that's doiris. And that automatically is a siman of treif. If you could do that. Now, what's the siman of kosher? Says the Mishnah, kosher is like Etzbei Seirah. It has an extra finger we're going to see. The zepek, the kukravani niklaf, tar. Let's look real quickly. It's not in order, of course. Here. Zepek is that first thing. We don't need to see that. We have better pictures than that. Or niklaf is that yellow. I showed you the video of the gizzard, how there's a bunch of stones in it. Great. Here's a great picture of the parrot eating with his hand. That's doiris according to one pshat and Rashi. Here's the extra finger, 3 fingers on one side, one on the back side of the branch. That's a kosher animal. That's Viseira, Rashi, Tosfos. Great. Doiris according to Tosfos. That's basically what I showed you from Miami. Okay. So, says the Gemara, if he does the drisa, it's 100% guaranteed that he's tamei. Even though one siman of tahar is enough to consider him a tahar, but if he does something called drisa, it overrides all simanim, and he is tamei. Yes, if he has extra finger, then we automatically know that he's tar. You do a wire test. You take him like this. You put him on a wire. First of all, here's a parrot eating with his hand, but here's a wire test. Not the best way, but the point is, you see that if his two fingers go on one side and two on the other side, then he is treif. So parrots are treif. Im tamei, two on each side, he's tamei. But if he doesn't like a chicken, 3-in-1, then it is 3-in-1, tar. Reb Shimon ben Elazar, if he could catch food with his mouth in mid-air, tamei. That's the Gemara, Tziparta Nami Miklat Kolta. There's a kosher bird called Tziparta, which could also catch food in mid-air. Amar Abaya, you have to catch it like the seagull, but also eat it. The problem is that kosher birds, maybe they could catch, but they can't eat it. Says Gemara, I have you side. If a bird lives with other tamei birds, then you should know he's tamei. If he lives with kosher birds, he's tar. Kiman, Kerbelezer, the famous Reb Eli, the sign Reb Eli Omer. All Israelis know this line. Loi lechinam halach zarzer, that's a Erev. The zarzer didn't go to hang out with the raven for no reason. The point is that they're one and the same. When a person hangs out with somebody who's no good, then you could tell what kind of person he is. Even the Rabbanon that argue on Reb Eliezer, we're talking about the Zarzir who is similar in the way he looks. That's why he's considered like them. Not just because he hangs out with them. Hanging out is not enough. You have to actually look. The Mara has to be the same. Alright, so now we're switching over to a new sugya. If you recall, in the same Mishnah of the birds, we had also about the grasshopper. Grasshoppers, some of them are kosher, not all. The simanim are, it has to have 4 feet, and 4 wings. The interesting thing, I don't know of other animals besides, we'll see later on, the cricket. It has jumpers, 2 jumpers. It causes him to take off, just launches him. They're not feet. He doesn't walk with them. If he needs to get from place A to place, like feet haderech, literally, boop, like a spring, 2 springs, and his wings cover most of his body. And Reb Yosi says his name has to be Chagov. Okay, so here's some pictures. Here we go. So we have 4 feet in the front. We have 4 wings, which reminded me of a dragonfly that has 4 feet and 4 wings. And I saw or read, I don't remember anymore, like the beauty of the dragonfly. It's an insect that I always hated until I learned a little bit about him. He's like very scary. So this grasshopper has 4 wings. Great. So we said the 4 simanim, the reglayim, kartulayim, knofayim, roiv. My rubai, what does it mean most? Most of the length of its body. It should go around his whole body. Hilkach, bi'inon, you need both. Let's make a compromise. Everybody's right. So because he said everybody's right, Mamish, this is what I tell my wife all the time. You're right. We're both right. I've never said it once in my life. It's a nice feeling. We're both right. Hilchah bin a roi, varko bin a roi v'keifo. Tana about it. Ein lo yachshav also l'gal lachas man. He's like a baby that doesn't have any teeth, and then eventually the teeth are going to grow in. So is he a good grasshopper? He doesn't have these jumpers. He's a good grasshopper. Why? Check this out. I think this is fascinating. It says in the Torah, Asher loy kiraim. If you look in the word, loy means no. He does not have the kiraim. But in fact, we don't read it with an aleph. We read it with a vav. Loy means he has. It's the exact opposite meaning. So what's pshat? It says it with an aleph, but we read it, so it doesn't make sense loy, that he doesn't have. So write with a vav. And the answer is beautiful. Because he really doesn't have. He doesn't have today. But loy in him, selikt crime. He has the ability, and one day when he gets older, it's like teeth. You look at a baby, he says, loy teeth. He doesn't have teeth. But loy teeth, with a vav, he does have teeth. They're in his gums. They're going to come out in 6-7 months. He will have. So it's actually with a vav, not with the aleph. It's beautiful. Avishain lo yachshav, as l'galachas man, he's motor. My zachal, omar v'askero. That's the name of the grasshopper. Torah Rabbana. Okay, so we're doing a sugya that's everybody's favorite. Here, 2 psukim. If we read the first pasuk, it says, Achzeh toichlu mikol sheretz ha'oif ha'ilach ha'arba. You're not allowed to eat shrotzen. You're not allowed to eat a snake. You're not allowed to eat a mouse. But there is a sheretz you're allowed to eat, and that's the grasshopper. And it says, he goes al arba, he has 4 feet. Asher loy kra'ayim imal raglov. He has these jumpers. L'nater b'hem al aretz. So it says you're allowed to eat every grasshopper in the world. There's 11,000 types of grasshoppers. You could eat them all. And then all of a sudden, Pasuk Chav Beis comes along and says, no, stop. What I meant to say is this, element toichelu es arba, you only could eat 4. Arba, salam, chargol, chagav. We're going to talk about all these 4 because each one has something that the other one doesn't have. Chagav has nothing special, but the arba, salam, chargol. And if you notice, I put in green, because green on top means everything is free, everything is good. And then the word leminoi comes to add something. Leminoi, look at this. The first one is leminoi, the next 3 are lemineu. And the Gemara is going to say those exact words. Leminoi, lemineu comes to add another species of grasshopper. So, just to understand what we're talking about. There's a grasshopper that has a good set of hair. Is that how you say it? A good head of hair, like Alex. And there's a grasshopper that has a karachas. He's bald. There's a grasshopper that has a long head. That's a rosh aruch. There's a grasshopper, most don't. It's weird. I'll show you a picture of a long-headed grasshopper. And then you have a grasshopper that has a tail. It's not the tail in the sense that we know, like a wagging dog tail, that of a horse, or a cow, who are in the Alps. More of like a pipe to lay eggs or something, but it sticks out from the back of the grasshopper. So these are the 3 characteristics that we're going to be discussing and seeing if it's important that they have, don't have. Okay. So says the Gemara. All these, Esa Arba, and it goes on to talk about the Arba. That's the first one right here. Arba, you should know, he doesn't have a karachas. In other words, he has hair, a good set of hair. Salam, Roshan. Oh, this one he's a bald one. So Yoshi just did this. I told him this is my idea. So he did it. It's not the best, but just to see a grasshopper with hair and a grasshopper without hair. I like Avi Kamyansky better. It's much, much better. So, Zog the Gemara. Chargol Zanipol. This is one that has a tail. Here's a tail. It could be Yoshi made it up. It's just, maybe not. We'll have to ask him. Find out if he made this one up. But it's based on pictures in the Sfarim of a tail. It's not a real, wagging tail. It's just a pipe. Chagav. Oh, so this is interesting. Chagav. That's his name is, that's his name. Grasshopper. Grasshopper is grasshopper. Zeh Gideon. Ma tamalemer liminoi, limineu. Arbam. As you saw in the pasuk, it says liminoi, 4 times. Lahavi tziparis kromim v'yochen Yerushalmis. They have a baldness, a karachat. Baratzuvia, barazbanis, they have tails. Okay, so the extra words are to tell us these extra grasshoppers. The very small tana elu klolis ve'elu pratis. So to remind the olam, very very simple, especially if you've done MDY for a while. If not, it's also simple. The Torah says that first pasuk that I mentioned, you could eat all grasshoppers, the yellows, the blues, the colorful, whatever, all the 11,000 species. That's a cloud. That's a generalization. But immediately afterwards, the Torah says, no, let's be specific. Out of the 11,000, only 4. Arbe, Solim, Chargol, and Chagov. If you look closely, they have special characteristics. This guy is a long-headed guy. This guy right over here, what does he have special? Has a tail. This guy is bald. You know what I'm saying? So each one has something. And this Chagav dude, has nothing. Nothing. This is what a Taimani eats. He doesn't have a tail. He doesn't have a long head. He doesn't have a bald head. He has garnished. Okay. Just to be clear, this is the long-headed guy. I like this picture a lot. I think Yoshi might have made it up. But I'm sure you can find something similar. Okay. So now, those of you that say korbanos, you say klal u'prat u'klal, and prat. So what does it mean? Klal is a generalization. Torah says you could eat them all. But then the Torah says no, you can't eat them all. You can only eat these. So it's klal and prat. If the Torah would have stopped right there, it would have been a big problem. Then you can only eat those 4. But if the Torah continues and makes a sandwich, a klal in the beginning, a klal at the end, and the prat in the middle, then we are limiting the klal, but it's similar to the prat. So we're not limiting it completely. We're not adding just one. We could add a lot, but they have to be within the characteristics of the 4 that we allow. That's it. That's the whole thing. So what do we get from that? It's not going to help us much because we're not very familiar with these creatures anyway. A bunch of names. So says the Gemara, Arba is a Gavai. The word Arba, it's a Gavai, it doesn't have a bald head. Salam, Zerashan. The Salam does have a bald head. Chargol, Zenipol. So what's special about Arba? Arba has, he has a full head of hair. The Chargol has a tail. Zenipol. Chagav, Zegideon. Chagav is the name. Oh no, so I'm already holding on the bottom. Sorry. Tana, the very Shmuel. Tana, Elu, Klolis, very brothers. We have the klal, part of the klal. We have the pasuk, the first pasuk, Chav Aleph. That tells us the klal. General rule here. This you're allowed to eat them all. Then we have the prat. Here we go. We're limited to these 4, but then we open it up again with another generalization. I'm sorry. Limino. It opens it up to similar ones. The what? Arba is a gavoy, we said. Limino lahavitzi pires krum. It doesn't have a bald head. So very simple, means I only know that which comes in front of me with all 4 good simanim. What are the 4 simanim? The normal simanim, and that's what we're going to stick with. 4 legs, 4 wings, 2 jumpers, called karsulayim, and it has wings that are chayfer roiv guf, they cover his body. So and he doesn't have a bald head. If he has a bald head, how do you know that also? How do you know? Zenipol, and a nipol has a bald head. It's funny. Limineu, lavis harushkaf. Ve'inli ela ba, ve'inli gebachas. Okay, so now once again, we're going to do the same thing over and over. Now he comes to me with all 4 simanim, but he doesn't have a bald head. That's okay. But he comes and he has a bald head. But Haba ve'inli zonov. And also we know about the guy that doesn't have a tail as great. But what about Haba ve'yesh zonov minayin? What if he comes with a tail? Are you allowed to eat it? Yes. Tamaloymar chargol. And you should know, chargol is a Russian. And what does a Russian have? Obviously a Russian has a tail. And you're allowed to eat it. They have tails. So it's similar to the chargol. The chargol has a tail. So Melo Limineu adds to the chargol and says, you know what, not just the chargol that has a tail, but there's 2 other guys that have tails and you can eat them as well. If he has a tail, that one? What if his head is not long? Sorry. So a normal grasshopper, his head is not long. How do you know a guy shows up with a long head? How do you know you're allowed to eat him? Amris. You can learn from all 3 of the grasshoppers. All grasshoppers are not like the chargol. The chargol is special. What's special about the chargol? It has a tail. What's special about the arba? It doesn't have a bald head. And those 2 are not like the salam. But what's the common denominator? He has the 4 regular simanim. 4 feet, 4 legs, 4 wings, 2 jumpers, and his wings wrap around his body. So even though his head is a long head, he is kosher. Ask the Gemara a bomb question. And I didn't realize this until mamish a little bit before the Hebrew Shiur. I did a quick search for a picture on a cricket. And this cricket reminds you almost identical to a grasshopper. What's the difference? He has 4 feet, has 2 jumpers in the back. He even has a little bit of a tail going on there. He's mamish a chagav. And he has 4 wings, that I guess he has 4 wings, because the Gemara says so, and they wrap around his body. You don't see them. I had the privilege of having some of these guys in my house. They're not hard to catch, but when they get into your house, they go behind furniture or something, they make a cricket. They make mamish noirvayim, especially if you're sensitive to sounds, and you're trying to learn, and mamish all day long. So, or all night long. So the Gemara makes it not a cricket. Well, it's hard to as there. He has all the simanim of a grasshopper. Maybe she be mutar. No. He has to have a name. He has to be from the family of grasshoppers. What if his name is grasshopper? People tell you he's a grasshopper species, but he doesn't have the 4 feet, the 4 wings, and all that. So that's the final limineu. Actually, a boy calls him on we learn from the limineu until he has all the siman. Listen, there's a limit. And he says, but he prepares and he does and that. But up until 5 minutes before Shabbos, that's it. How can you prove anything? Those guys, they don't have a long head. You know what? They have all the 4 simanim, so just you could eat it, and you don't ask any questions. But the chargol also has all those simanim, so it shouldn't even be mentioned in the Torah. If it takes some arba salam, you can learn it out from the 2 other ones. Just like the 2 arba salam you could eat, so too the chargol. So what if it has a long head? So says the Gemara. Those 2, time out, the chargol has a tail, not a long head. Chargol has a tail. You know what? You can't learn chargol from them because they don't have tails and a chargol does. They don't have a long head. At the end of the day, the word Salam is extra. The name Salam is extra. So the Torah shouldn't say Salam, and you should learn it out from those two. The my parachas, because why not? Because you're going to ask a question. The Arba, by the way, doesn't have anything. So he doesn't have a bald head. So that's not a good question, because you see, he could eat a chargol, and he does have a bald head. But a chargol something special has a tail. But once again, we pull in the Arba, and he doesn't have a tail. Salam the Chazarah Lamali can learn the Salam from those two. And from here I learn the long-headed grasshopper boisai. Have a wonderful Shabbos. You should go for sticking it out all the way till Shabbos. See you, Motzi Shabbos. Yeshua Koyach.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.